Welcome back. It's 8 minutes before 8 o'clock. The National Youth Council of Jamaica, Nycj, is raising concern about private candidates writing the CXC as well as City and Guilds and General Certificate of Education GCE examinations. On Monday, Minister with responsibility for Education, Youth and Information, Carl Samuda, announced that Jamaicans students will sit secondary level exit exams in July.
This includes the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate (CSEC) and Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination (CAPE) papers, both administered by the CXC and begin on July 27. But the NYCJ says it notes the absence of national discussions relating to challenges facing persons who are to sit the CXC, City and Guilds, and GC in private institutions.
Private institutions, that's a conversation we haven't been having indeed. So Chairman of the NYCJ, Jerome Palmer, joins us now. Good morning, Jerome.
And good morning.
So about how many students are we talking about who are to sit these examinations privately?
I just want you to know that the information on the numbers is not something that is generally accessible. But I just want you to know that the National Council, for the past about maybe 3-4 weeks, we have been engaging youth who are affected, through our parish councils, and the concern was raised not after the minister's statement. And I just want to say the minister, of course, reached out to us immediately. The ministry reached out to us immediately to try to see how best they can, provide some insight on what's happening. But it began a long time ago from the internet issues were being raised. The National Council or parish councils through our WhatsApp group was saying, hey, listen, we are in Hanover, we're in Westmoreland, and a lot of our students, some of our youth, they might be in secondary schools doing the CXC, but they're doing CXC in a private institution. That's one. And there are also youth who they might fail CXC generally in secondary school, but they're now doing it in private institutions. And they're afraid that sending resources through schools and not trying to reach out to other youth who, if they fail, then it would be captured in the system that Jamaicans, this is the amount of Jamaicans who pass or fail, then they're afraid that they might not be able to have even a general a pass.
So if I'm to understand you clearly, your concern is how the pass rates or the pass-fail rate is going to be assessed generally?
And I think putting it like that narrows it.
Yes.
This is the concern. The concern is that, one, private sitting also has marginalized youth from marginalized backgrounds across the island.
Uh-huh.
Now, the National Council, we have identified numerous private institutions across the island. We don't want to try to name and shame. That this includes from Westmoreland to St. James, Pope, St. Catherine, Clarendon, persons who are sitting these exams, they haven't received any clarity, nor have they received any access or amenities to facilitate them doing the exam. The next thing that we're saying is persons who are doing City and Guilds. A lot of persons, let me tell you, I went to Tivoli Gardens and I did City and Guilds was the subject for students, unfortunately, who aren't so bright. And if you know the background of students who are not participating in school, they themselves are from troubled background. And the minimum for City and Guilds is £17, for a level 2 certificate, and it goes up to £70. Now, per subject, these youth haven't been captured in the national dialogue. We aren't saying that conversations might not be happening, behind, but youth who are in Westmoreland, who are in St. Thomas, Portland, they are not hearing. Therefore, we want something to be put forward so that they can hear and get clarity on the issue. Because
So there's no guidance as to whether City and Guilds has been cancelled, postponed?
No, actually, I contacted City and Guilds and numerous other persons who are doing this, because I have to get the information firsthand. And what was said to me, both by the Overseas Examination Council and by City and Guilds, the City and Guilds have said this, listen, the schools are responsible for facilitating the exams. We have no say over that. The exams are set for June, July.
So,
That's City and Guilds.
so if that's the case then, Jerome, where we seem to be then is the communication not coming from the schools through which the exams would be sat.
And I think that definitely, and
Okay.
that is because as I'm trying to say, I want to acknowledge the fact that yes, the ministry and the Minister of State, Minister Terrell, has been engaging us, and we don't want to discount the work of the ministry. But this is what we realized. I was attending Tivoli and I was in CXC at the Data Incursion. The ministry would have sent specific information to Tivoli at that Tivoli Garden for us to go to St. Hughes, because I went to St. Hughes to do my CXC. However, I was doing some City and Guilds at that time, and it was very hard for me to get information and clarity because I went to this teacher is sending me today, and it was a circle. So what we're saying is we just want a standard set of information for City and Guilds and GCE to be put forward on the national dialogue, just as though we see conversations on the CXC being positioned nationally. We want these subjects to be positioned nationally, because the truth is, if we want to speak about sustainable development and national development, we have to ensure that all youth have access to this information for them to self-advocate.
So,
and that information should come from that guidance should come from the Ministry of Education?
Definitely. Because in the same breath, as I said to you, and I use in Tivoli Garden, it's a good school. Tivoli Garden is from 25. It's a good school. It's not like information wasn't given, but somehow when students are asking for information, their level of security and empowerment is limited when they don't have truth to work with.
Well, I hope you get that clarity very soon. I hope the authorities are listening and this matter is addressed urgently.
If I may, I think yesterday, immediately after, the ministry reached out to us to say they want to engage. Well, they want to engage us. To the meeting today at 5 to work through it. So I think the receptiveness and the follow through from the ministry, and that's why again, I don't know.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, give us that update later after the meeting.
Definitely. I just want to say, the National Council has been advocating significant. I would just want to thank Nationwide for bringing us to this platform, because we have been, during the internet deficit, we put out a press release during the young man that was killed from, I think, a heart attack. We also put out a press release. So we have been trying to ensure that youth from across the island, regardless of who they are, can have a voice, and their voices can be put forward.
Because we do all this talking around students and around what's going to happen with CXCs, and who's even asking the students themselves? Who's consulting? When you say education stakeholders, you have to remember the students themselves are the largest stakeholder. Thanks for joining us this morning, Jerome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.